set yourself some more achievable, realistic, kind of targeted entrepreneurial pursuits. So start small, build a bit of momentum, give yourself a chance of success. And as that success comes and the resulting confidence boost and momentum comes, then look at something bigger and bigger and bigger.
What if you had the opportunity to have a coffee with your 18-year-old self? What advice would you offer? And would you actually take the advice and offer? I'm absolutely fascinated by that question. I interview people from all walks of life, from Heineken Cup winners, New York Times bestselling authors, polar explorers, you name them, I've interviewed them. Be inspired, learn and grow from the experience of others. Welcome to the What I Know Now podcast with Mark Kelly.
So my guest today is Jamie White. He's an award-winning entrepreneur and speaker. He's the founder of Leading Social, which helps businesses get the results they need through social media marketing. When he's not working on his own business, he loves supporting others on their entrepreneurial pursuits and also shares some of his best business tips and lessons through his daily vlogs and blogs. Thank you and welcome to the show, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great to have you. So Jamie's actually just next door to me, so this is like the shortest walk over ever. It's literally like 20 seconds, so it's really, really good to catch up. So Jamie, straight off the bat, tell me about your motivation behind setting up Living Social.
Look, being transparent, I just saw that so much of marketing was coming into the space of social media. So the times when people were watching TV, or the times when people were listening to the radio, or the times when people were reading magazines or newspapers, were all being consumed by social media on mobile. So, you know, when you were sitting in a waiting room, waiting for the dentist, for example, and reading a magazine, you don't read a magazine anymore. You look at social media on your mobile. And when you're in the back of the car and you would have previously been listening to the radio, you don't listen to the radio. You play with social media on your phone. So I just saw so much attention verging or moving into social media. And for me, I'd see myself as an entrepreneur, and I think the efficient route to realizing any kind of business is having a real core expertise in sales and marketing. And the key space for sales and marketing is in social media. So in seeing all that attention go there, and in seeing the opportunity that good social media or good sales and marketing can bring, I thought, well, if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to create business, I don't really have a choice. I have to be in that space.
Brilliant. And what would you say to an upcoming entrepreneur who wants to get the secret or the magic formula, because you've had several successful businesses before that? What would you say is the secret?
Honestly, slow down. So when I'm looking at so many entrepreneurs, I think the big problem that they're making at the moment is that they're diving headfirst into being an entrepreneur, and their entrepreneurial pursuit isn't something kind of, to be honest, attainable. 9 times out of 10, they're trying to change the world, and they're going to take over, and they have a €100 billion idea. And I think that's lovely to have that kind of goal in mind, but I think you have to be real and realistic. And I think what happens, sadly for a lot of people, for a lot of young entrepreneurs, is they come in with all that ambition and they come in with all that excitement and they dive into the market, and the market literally gives them a big clatter across the head, and it knocks their confidence and it knocks their momentum. And I think probably a far more efficient route to success would either be, one, set yourself some more achievable, realistic, kind of targeted entrepreneurial pursuits. So start small, build a bit of momentum, give yourself a chance of success. And as that success comes and the resulting confidence boost and momentum comes, then look at something bigger and bigger and bigger. That's one. But hand in hand with that, I think people need to be conscious of the fact that, look, you know, there is an art and there is experience that needs to be earned. And probably the most efficient route to getting that experience is to serve as an apprentice, serve an apprenticeship under an entrepreneur and learn under somebody. So get stuck in, and whether that's if you're in college doing an apprenticeship, or whether that's when you're out of college, an internship, or whether you're out of college, literally going to an entrepreneur and saying, look, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I ultimately want to create a business. I've seen what you've done. I think it's really, really admirable. I'd like to work underneath you. I'll do anything. Just let me learn from you. And I think that's the most efficient route to success, but I think that's probably one of the most ignored things to do at the moment, because, as I said, there's so much excitement from the younger generation that they just want to dive in. They don't have time to learn underneath somebody else. Does that make sense?
It sure does. It makes an awful lot of sense to me, because I think you learn from other people because you can shadow and see that you can role model really, really good behaviour. It's a fantastic way to actually overcome your own necessary mistakes because you can learn through others as well. So through your vlogs and kind of your daily updates, you talk an awful lot about overcoming challenges. You're also talking about giving out advice to people, maybe some of the mistakes that you've made in the past, you want to share to help people with that. And what kind of challenges do you have that maybe you probably would have liked advice from previously, maybe you didn't get it, but you got some good advice that actually made a big difference to you in your entrepreneurial journey?
So for me, and I think for anyone really in an entrepreneurial journey, so getting stuck into business, the challenging thing is that most people in business just bullshit all the time. So most people in business won't tell you genuinely how they're doing in business, won't tell you how they're feeling as a result of how they're doing in business. And instead of doing that, they create a kind of a false impression. And as you're watching on, it's very hard to know actually what is the real truth or what is actually going on. And if there's that kind of that shield up, you don't get to learn. So for me, you said, look, I share a lot of content on social media, and I do that because I wished other people did it when I was younger, and I wished I could have followed others and learned from them. So I say this thing, I hope people watching on can learn at my expense and speed up their entrepreneurial journey. Because for me, the transfer of knowledge is the really exciting thing, rather than that weird idea that some entrepreneurs have, where if they have an idea, they need to keep it to themselves. And they shroud themselves in secrecy and keep everybody else out. But whatever about your success, if you share all the value that you have to give, think about the compounding growth that collectively people can have as a result. And I think there's a far greater fulfillment and excitement that comes from that than anything else. So for me, answering that question in a real long route, like I wish there was people that I could have followed, and I wish people were sharing more information the way I'm trying to at the moment and the way others are starting to similarly.
It was a similar mindset to why I set up What I Know Now.
Yeah.
It was just a case of, what do I know now that I wish I knew before? And then if I could get a collective of loads of different types of personalities, people have done really extraordinary things, and share that with a community, people will achieve their goals 10, maybe 50 times sooner because other people are sharing it. And for so many people, particularly the younger age, they might not necessarily ask the questions because they just want to dive straight in because they think they know the solutions to go into it, which is madness in some ways. So what would you say, how did your passion for entrepreneurship and events come, or where did it come? Do you think you got it from your family, was it friends, or what do you think kind of triggered it for you?
Honestly, so when I started in business, I was in school. I was running a tuck shop from my locker in a boarding school, selling the stuff that people couldn't buy within the school and charging a nice margin. And honestly, I suppose I liked the excitement that came from that. I liked the to be honest, the network, like the chats and the friendships that built off the back of it, and the fun, like literally, sneaking out of school to buy a load of stuff in the local shop and then sneak it back into school, and maybe the attention that came from that. But I actually wasn't as conscious of the business model that I created, but it was quite interesting. I was buying, let's say, a can of Coke for 50 cents and selling it for €2. That's a nice margin. That's pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting indeed.
And so I don't know what essentially triggered it. It's just always something that I suppose, that was age 12. I was looking for an opportunity, and I enjoyed the fun and the excitement that surrounded that. Money was a byproduct. It wasn't something that I was focused on. And I didn't appreciate what I was doing, but like genuinely when I was 12, 13, I was making maybe 150, 200 quid every week. And that progressed and grew. And yeah, funny that money was a byproduct. Probably the excitement and the networking, the attention was the thing that kind of motivated it, and then things just flowed from there. One thing led to the next. It was a journey.
It was a nice experience to know you're adding value to the world, and people want to hang around people that add value, right?
Well, it's a bit of a funny one when you're adding value in terms of selling cans of Coke and packets of crisps.
Well,
but
they had a need in boarding school, right? Because there's demand there, particularly. It's more challenging to get it. And so tell me a little bit about fresh resolutions and the kind of journey for that for January. What's going to happen with that?
So Fresh Resolutions for me is a passion project, and for me, I'm one of these goal setters that comes into January, has my new diary, has my ambitious goals for the year, has my ambitious rules for living, or guidelines for living. And honestly, I think anybody at the start of the year, it's challenging because we have very high expectations for the year ahead. And what I wanted to do was just host an event that would complement, help reinforce people's New Year's resolutions. set them up for success. I used to host a lot of events. I used to host raves, used to host concerts with big fancy DJs and stuff, and that was cool. People would go mad for a night. But as I suppose I'm maturing a little bit more, I want to do things that really impact people. And so when I'm sharing content on social media, I'm hoping that I'm going to inspire a future entrepreneur, and they're going to go, wow, that really changed. That little bit of content that you put out, that changed things for me. And so when I'm hosting an event like Fresh Resolutions, I am hoping that it's going to positively impact the attendees going. So long story short, it is a health and well-being conference. We've brought together really some of the leading personalities and authorities in that space to speak and share their life hacks and their value to help set people up to take on their year ahead. And there's a great saying, like obviously this is I suppose I'm entrepreneurially focused, and there's a guy, Matt Quigley, he owns Yoga Hub, and he has this beautiful quote. What he said, whatever about being successful professionally, if you aren't successful personally, success professionally just doesn't have a chance. But if you're successful personally, success professionally is just a given. And so for me, starting off the year right, setting yourself up in a personal sense right, is the most important thing, and everything will flow from there. So Fresh Resolutions, passion project, is something I'm really excited about, something that I'll do annually, and I'll grow annually, and I'll build annually, and I hope it's going to positively impact a lot of people.
Brilliant. Well, you got loads of really, really good guests on it, so I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent success,
yeah.
Which is brilliant. And my last question, you're sitting here and you're speaking to your 18-year-old self, and maybe you're having herbal tea or water after what you just said. What advice are you sharing? Enjoy the moment. Simplest thing, but enjoy the moment. For me, when I was 18, like when I was 12 or 13 at that tuck shop, it was cool, and I was making a load of money, but I didn't appreciate it at all. And I didn't appreciate what I was doing, and I didn't acknowledge what I was up to. And at aged 18, I just done what I think was really well in leaving. I just done really well in rugby in school. I had loads of really, really good friends. I had loads of real fun moments, but I didn't appreciate them as much as I should. And for me, it's something that I'm becoming conscious of more and more now, the positive impact that gratitude brings. It sounds cliche, it's corny, it's said all the time, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't take time every day to go, whoa, that was brilliant, that was amazing, that was great. And if you don't reinforce that positivity, things go the other way. And so my advice to my younger self is very, very simple. Enjoy the moment, appreciate the moment, and be grateful for that moment. Do you know what? A lot of people say similar, but they actually don't do it. But when you do start appreciating it, everything else starts to fall into place. I think it's great advice. Thank you very much, James.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the What I Know Now podcast with Mark Kelly. To subscribe to the podcast, just enter WIKN into iTunes or any Android podcast of choice, or check out the website at www.wikn.co. I'd love to get your feedback, either positive or negative, about the episode and what action you're going to take. I look forward to seeing you next week, and remember, have an absolutely super day. Bye.